All right, we're gonna try something different here. Instead of me writing these long diatribes that nobody reads anyways, we're gonna post some onboards because as much as I love laughing at my own jokes, I love watching onboards more. So I know what you're thinking. Why would we watch the onboard of some midfielder, right? Isn't he embarrassed? And the answer is like, look, I'm not ashamed of who I am. Okay, that's my parents' job. And what I'm really looking for is maybe some driver coaching. So when you guys see my mistakes, point them out. I'm sure you will. And yeah, enjoy the show.
All right, so here we go, rolling out on the test day on old tires. Only my second time in the car in the last 9 months. Let's get all the excuses out of the way now. The sun was low in the sky. I think Mercury was in retrograde. Maybe the moon was in Uranus. I don't know. Just a few clips of what it's like on these test days. Sometimes can be a lot of chaos, like coming around on your first flyer here, and you got two cars leaving the pits going side by side through two. But pretty big mix of cars on these days. Everything from P1 all the way down to Formula Vs, although I don't think we had any Vs with us today. I think maybe it was just Fords and maybe a 600 or two. But big mix of cars, big speed differentials. These P1 cars really should be the fastest on track, or at least the fastest in the group. And I'm not sure what this guy was doing. Maybe still warming up the tires halfway through the session. Who knows? But you try to find some space, and you think you're going to put a flyer in, and then I make it all the way to turn 3 before I catch him, which can get pretty frustrating, to say the least. So after a few laps of him pulling away on the straights and then just parking it in the infield, I think, here I give him a thumbs up, let him know he's doing a really good job, maybe just some positive reinforcement. But yeah, it's just beyond frustrating, and they just park it like that, right in front of you, lap after lap. So anyways, we come around later in the session, got a car backwards there, which I think leads to a black flag. Yeah, if there is one thing this group likes more than black flags, I haven't figured out what that is yet. But so that's first session done. Second session, we've all kind of gone out, shaking the rust off. You try to spend the first couple laps just finding some space, hopefully so you can get a clean lap in. Looks like I finally got some here, so here we go, coming into turn 2, and just like that, you catch these guys really where you shouldn't be catching them. I think it's because we have such narrow tires and they have such wide tires that we corner so much better than them, right? That's not how it works? Oh, okay, my bad. But here, coming into 6, first guy goes wide. Second guy comes and chops across the nose. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on here either. This guy is passing me, then he's not passing me, then he is passing me. Maybe he went up to ride the cushion. Not sure. To the last lap of the session, I have Deffer ahead of me with no diffuser on, hauling down the straights, but can't turn in the infield, and we'll revisit that later in the video. And I have an upright bolt brake there. Fortunately, it happened in the slowest corner on the track, and a relatively simple fix, although that's easy for me to say since I'm not the one that had to do it. Fast forward to Friday's qualifying, rolling out on sticker tires, trying to slowly bring the pressures up on these things. I think really when I get to lap 3 is probably their best lap, so try to find some space, bring them up to pressure so that you get to lap 3, it's time to go, you catch traffic, and you got a car backwards in turn 3. So not ideal. Good news is I'm right behind Rob going into the black flag, so now I'm just doing my absolute best to stay with him and then hopefully have him pull me along when we get to the oval. So here we go. Green flag, shake and bake, baby. Let's do this. Going into turn 1, and I lift for some reason. That's normally an easy flat turn. Just doing my best to try to stick with him. Do okay through 2 and 3, but then we get to turn 4, and he was just so much better than me through that corner all weekend. I struggled with that corner all weekend long. Going into 6, he has some traffic ahead of him, so I'm able to close back up a little bit. And then again, doing my best just to stick with him, hopefully catch some sort of draft. Probably looking in his mirror, cussing me for taking advantage, but hey, I need all the help I can get. So thanks, Rob. I appreciate this one. Going into the last turn, have a decent exit onto the oval. So now I'm right there. He's getting the benefit of that P1 car ahead of him. I am definitely getting some benefit from him being in front of me. And then for some really odd reason, I pull out of the draft and go down low. I'm following probably the most slippery Van Diemen on the planet, and not exactly sure why I did that. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Again, going into 1, I lift. Can't explain why I'm doing that. You can see he's starting to inch out a little bit more and more on me. I'm kind of close, but then we get to turn 4 and he just destroys me. He's gone. Fortunately for me, he has a brake problem probably on the worst turn of the track. Not sure exactly what happened, but he goes wide, tries taking me out when he comes back on, and now I'm on my own. Our best 2 laps from qualifying. Flat through 1, down 2 gears, turn in, try to get back to full power as soon as possible. Down another gear, roll as much speed as you can through here, back to full power, big lift, and then try to get down to that apex, which I don't do a very good job of. There's only 2 right-handers on this entire track, that one and this one coming up, and it is tough to keep temp on the left-hand side of tires when you need it. So anyways, I struggled with that all weekend, both of those turns actually. So coming down the short chute, down the backstretch, into the most important turn on the track, brake late, down 3 gears, get turned in, and try to get back to full power as soon as possible, because you are flat out from here all the way through turn 2. Little bit of debate whether it's faster to hug the apron or go wide and drive down the banking. I know you pick up some speed with driving down the banking in iRacing. In make believe, it's always faster to hug the apron. So who knows? I don't claim to be an expert in that by any means. So 21.93, that's great. Coming in again, carrying as much speed as you can through 2, using all the track, rolling speed through 3, and trying to get down to the apex and onto power as soon as possible. Better that time, still a little late to the power, but coming into 6, try to brake as late as possible, down 2 more gears, carry as much speed as you can, use all the track and then some, and then straighten this out as much as you can to get back down to the most important corner. It helps if you don't miss a shift there. Pro tip. Get a good exit onto the oval, and then it's just hope and pray. There's a car up in front of me, so I'm kind of following his line to get any sort of benefit you can, but at this point you're just matted and you're hoping something, watching the dash, hoping you get something out of it. First one was a 21.93, this one was a 21.95, so I'm sure that Mischief didn't help, and would have been nice if that guy passed me half a lap earlier and he could have pulled me around there. But it's a Rob's brake problem. I'm on provisional pole for now. However, we still had Saturday morning's qualifying session, which I spent the entire time in traffic. I don't think I got much clean laps. I certainly didn't go faster. A black flag with only a few minutes left in the session. So I come in, check tire pressures. Just like Formula One, they bring in the timing screen for me. And as of this point, I am still on pole by 0.05 seconds. I think Rob did a 21.98 versus my 21.93 yesterday. Unfortunately for me, we still got a couple laps, so here we go. This is it. Last lap of the session. My only chance to keep my pole. I got a guy in front of me, but not really close enough to be making much of an impact. So he actually might be close enough to where I'm picking up some benefit of his draft, at least on the oval. So made a little bit of a gear change between yesterday and today. I think a longer third, which helped. Possibly even a shorter fourth. Don't quote me on this. I'm just a guy that shows up and drives. Going into the last turn, brake late, gain a few car lengths on this guy, and then just hope that he pulls me along. I'm up on my dash, but not enough to improve on yesterday. Come around to start finish, and it's a 22-1, so no improvement. Rob on the last lap, I think, does a 21-7, so easily claims pole. Now it's time for race one. We get a split start with the FE2s. And as we're coming around on the pace lap, there's a P1 or P2 car off on the side there. We don't have a pace car, so I kind of had a feeling they were going to call off this start, and they do. So then we do some oval exhibition laps here as they clean out the infield. We do a couple of them. They finally get it cleared off. And here we go. Lined up for the green. I'm right on Paul's gearbox, so much so that the top element of his rear wing was blocking the flag stand. So I couldn't see. They throw the green, and it's lights out and away they go. I completely missed it. I just get swallowed up here. Probably one of the most dejected feelings that you feel in a race car. Quite unpleasant. You know, we had a long drivers meeting. It was kind of a cluster talking about all the classes together. So the FEs wanted to split start. They agreed, because there was only a few of us FCs there, they agreed to let us in on their split, with the understanding that, look, we're not going to ruin their race. They won't ruin ours. So at this point, Rob's 5 or 6 cars ahead of me. It's just not much I can do. So I spend the first half of this race just kind of following these guys around, going into one here. I see a debris flag. I see a car up in one in the oval smoking. So a little concerned that there's oil down, but yeah, just following these guys around, trying not to get in their race, knowing that even if I got by 1, it would be a monumental task to get by 5 to catch back up to Rob. So disappointing, but you know, my own fault. I missed the green, so that's I've made my bed, now I gotta lay in it. Lap after lap, they pull a pretty decent gap on me through the oval, but then we get to the infield and I catch right up to them pretty quickly. But again, they were all running together, so not much I'm gonna do here, or not much I can do. Coming around the oval, now the leaders are passing us. First one goes by, I think there's another one coming here. And this is where the group starts to get a little split up, so I think, hey, let's go racing. Let's have some fun. So this FE car has now been split up from the guys that he's playing with, and I think, all right, here's my chance to maybe to make up some positions. So doing everything I can. I'm certainly quicker through the corners. We've got more downforce. We've got a diffuser. I'm one of the best drivers, clearly. So, you know, I have all these things working for me. Doing everything I can, but they have so much grunt coming out of the corners that you really have to. They need to make a big mistake, or you really need to make a big move to do something, which I did not feel like risking. Get a good run. Again, I'm right there with them, but it's just watch them pull away from you is very disheartening. But here I am. I've got a good run. I'm semi-close to them. I'm in the draft. I feel like I can... I'm close enough to make a move maybe into 2. And here comes the FA, and that was totally on me. I went and apologized to that guy later. I swore I saw the checkered flag there, so I backed off. But I was wrong, like usual. Just ask my wife. So fast forward a couple laps, I've caught back up to this guy. Here we are. I'm pretty sure this is coming to take the white flag. I am full attack mode now. Like, just pick up a position. Just salvage this horrible race that you've had in some way. So coming around the banking, he's still got a good gap, but I've got a pretty decent draft. There's the white flag, flat through 1, and he brakes really early for 2, catches me off guard. I then try going up the inside into 3, don't get all the way there, he's still on the outside. Now he's got the inside line for 4, and it's a drag race with a car that's faster than you, down to 6. I go to the inside, could have stuffed it in there, but just try to psych him out. But because I take such a shallow line, I then have big snap oversteer, and he pulls out even more of a gap. We have some lap traffic coming up going into the last turn. My hope is he doesn't get around him. I'm not sure what I should do. Should I stay? I end up rolling through there. But that's it. Game over. Nothing I can do at this point. Checkered flag. Put me out of my misery. Rolling into the pit box once again as the bridesmaid. So I had a lot of time to stew on that before Sunday's race, which was a lot of waiting around, but that's a story for another time. Determined not to make the same mistake, I am nowhere close to underneath Ball's wing this time. I actually see the green, although I hit the rev limiter, which is never ideal. And then going into 1, I don't even bother trying to go side by side through there. I quickly realize that I did a subpar job of warming up the tires on the pace lap. There was only 1 pace lap today, as opposed to 3 yesterday. And I struggled with understeer the entire weekend, but it just seemed to jump up a few levels here. And you'll see going into 6, I'm just cranking wheel into it and having to wait way too long to get on the power. So now they've opened up a huge gap on me, which has invited all the FE2s behind me. One has a good run. Obviously they have lots of grunt down the straight, and he goes inside, going onto the oval. Fast forward 1 lap later, I'm in the exact same spot, still can't turn, and another FE goes by me. Laps later, things have kind of neutralized, kind of status quo. We're all sort of running lockstep here. I can't make much progress, but at least I'm not losing a ridiculous amount of ground like I was yesterday. So the understeer is still pretty bad. I made max roll bar changes that I could make, but still struggled with it massively. Coming into one here, we see a yellow flag, and there's an Atlantic in the grass off at turn 2, in a pretty dangerous spot. Less than half a lap later, we get a full course yellow. That pass ahead looked a little late, but okay. So now we come through, there's a crane, there's multiple tow trucks, a safety vehicle, all trying to get this one guy. I'm on the radio trying to talk to the crew, but I can't hear them at all. I don't know if they can hear me, but there's no communication at this point. Now later that exact same lap, we're up on the banking. People start speeding up, which again, I can't hear anything from the pits. I think there's 4 vehicles out there. There's no way we're going green. I'm way too far back to see the flag stand. A rock comes up and breaks the camera just to add salt to the wound. And yeah, we're going green, which was a nice surprise. So now I'm just trying to get by this one prototype car, broken camera and all. There's a gaggle of cars up ahead of him. Going into 4, I get a great run coming out of it. This is my shot. Going into 6, I don't care where he brakes, I'm going deeper. And we get there and I see a waving yellow. And we got a car off. In another dangerous spot. So wouldn't you know it, another full course caution. Quick backstory, I had been telling James Lee all weekend that Deffer just could not turn in the infield. Which for the record, he couldn't, okay? But I kept saying to James, man, you gotta put the diffuser back on the car. The guy can't turn. But it was also a little self-serving because he had about a 6 to 8 mile per hour advantage on me from top end through the oval. His response was, Chris, I know how this group goes. There's going to be a caution close to the end. You're going to have a 2-lap shootout to the checkered, and he's going to be able to blow right by you on the straights. Well, guess who's right behind me during this caution? I'm looking in my mirror going, you have got to be kidding me. So now we're coming through 3 and 4. I have no radio communication. Too far back to see the flag stand. Everybody goes, including Deffer. His radio clearly works. And I'm thinking, oh great. I absolutely have to get by this guy in the infield. So I decide, hey, let's go for it right now. Get by him into 2. And then now I just need to do everything I can to open up some sort of gap so that he doesn't just leave me in the dust going through the oval. Got a lapped car to contend with here. Don't have much straight line speed against those guys, but I decide very last minute that I'm just gonna go down the inside. I need to do everything I can to put some separation between myself and Deffer at this point. So he's still back there. Got a little bit of a gap on him. Going into the last turn. Which all I need to do is get a clean exit. And I don't. Just enough to have to get out of it for a second. Which is the kiss of death for me here. So we're going down the backstretch. I see him gaining in my mirror. There's the FE2 ahead of me. Stays high, so I stay high. Don't want to give Deffer anything. He pulls out of the draft to go down low, so I try squeezing him and give him just enough room to get through. But still does it. Has a huge head of steam. And I think, okay, let's do the same thing. Going to the 2. And at the very last moment, I notice some dust up in the air. I don't know what's around the other side, so I back out of it. And now I'm almost panic mode. Okay, I got to do something. I got to get by this guy and get by him quick. There's a spin here in front of him. He gets a horrible exit. I told you he couldn't turn. And now it's blood in the water. I'm going past him. I don't care what it takes. get 5 through 6, get a decent exit. And I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he made a mistake or what, but I opened up a little bit of a gap here. And now I just need to do the same thing through this last turn. Which I do. Again, a pretty good exit. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he made another mistake, but again, I opened up a big gap on him there as well. Somehow I'm able to keep him behind me for another lap. And here we go, taking the checker flag, another second place. But he made me work for that one. So on the cool down lap, I give him a thumbs up, even though he's cheating with no diffuser. But yeah, overall a decent weekend, a couple seconds. Struggled a little bit with the FE2s, or a lot of it, which was going to be a recurring theme the next weekend as well. But the good news is we get to load up and head a few hours north to Sebring and do it all again. I'll try to get that video up soon, and yeah, that's all she wrote.